Hello, good morning, good afternoon, I may say. So today is another opportunity. This is the day 7 of my 30 days live stream video challenge on YouTube. I also share this also on Facebook. So today I'm going to be talking about the overqualification challenge, the barrier that people who are overqualified, they encounter in job search here in Canada. Before I proceed, my name is Abiodun Oke. I'm the founder of Syria Project Services. I help experienced professionals who are looking to get a job in their profession within 90 to 120 days. I mean, 180 days. Basically, I provide some specific tools, that will help you to get to break into your profession sooner. So I'm talking about the overqualification barriers in job search, because a lot of experienced professionals will actually, they will face this situation. I think there is a particular story that sort of relates to this. In my previous employment, where there was a vacancy, for an higher role, and I was a great fit because I've demonstrated my capabilities at a lower role, in that organization. Well, guess what? Though I am qualified, I am a great fit as I've demonstrated, but I still need to apply because it's a competitive process. I need to be shortlisted and interviewed, for this job opportunity. But the long story short is that I wasn't shortlisted. Okay, there is a particular requirement which says I should self-declare that I'm a visible minority or whatever falls into that category because they have a policy basically to be more diverse. Because I had this idea about me declaring myself as a visible minority, I decided that this is not for me. Just what had happened is that I wasn't shortlisted. It was simply explained to me that it would be unfair. Remember, it's a competitive process. It was unfair. It will be unfair for me to be selected just because I'm a current employee, though I did not declare. This preference that the employer has, really that they want to employ people of different background and race, So it's the reason why they had that preference that people declare so that they could select them for interview. And this is the reason why I wasn't shortlisted. So in a way, this actually is similar to the issue of overqualification for experienced professionals, which is usually a situation where there is okay, well, they're asking for 5 years because it's an intermediate role, but you know what, you have 25 years experience, on this in your profession, and then maybe they ask for post-secondary education. Guess what, you have multiple PhDs, and you have this dilemma where you now, you don't know if you are going to take out those qualifications, those higher qualifications, so that you would not be eliminated from the competition. So there are different school of thoughts. Some people think that it is an ethics situation, that it might not be ethical for you to actually take out things that are related to your qualification, that because what they might find out, in some cases they would find out later. So but I think different organizations with different policies on those type of situations. This long story short is that if you run into this type of situation, um, I would say I would take it from this approach because I've categorized job search into three different approaches. There is the paperwork, approach. There is the after paperwork, there's the people's work approach, and then finally there's a kaizen, which is why what I do is different because the kaizen really it's about you. Paperwork really is things like, okay, your resume, your cover letter, and several other expectations. The um, that you need to meet in the process of applying to a job. Maybe sending a thank you letter. These are all paperwork things. So I've realized that predominantly this is what a lot of people do. It's just the paperwork thing that they focus on, where it is meeting the HR, expectation as stated on the job description. But when you do people's work, it's a little bit different. It's when you talk about the networking, and all that type of stuff. Networking is just one of those things. Actually, there are several other things that fall into that people's work approach. So why am I explaining this approach, the different categories? It's because that when you have this type of situation, which is the overqualification, there's a risk, that if there's an opportunity that is better than that job, say the employee or they hired you, well, you would want to go for a better job if there's that opportunity out there. So the organization is taking that risk to hire you, which is flight risk. Basically, you could take off anytime. So a lot of organizations don't have that tolerance for that type of risk. Recruitment is expensive. I'm sure you heard that. So a lot of folks would rather not select you for an interview if you are overqualified. Well, looking at this from the competitive approach, the paperwork. What I will do in your situation if I was overqualified is that on the first page, I will simply state how I met the requirements of the stated job description. So if it is 5 years they're asking for, why do I have to say that I have 20 years? I would state it right there. I have more than 5 years, by simply saying I met the requirement, but even much more than that. I don't have to state 25 years. The same thing if they ask for a post-secondary school education, maybe grade 12, or they're asking for a diploma. You have multiple PhDs, but that's not what they have requested of you. They want you to basically um, meet the diploma requirements. For example, I would just state that yes, I have post-secondary school education in this particular type of study. So that way you have that on the first page, but on the second page where you have extra space, you could actually then talk about the other education that you have. Maybe your PhDs or what that is. But on the first page, you could leave it there that you met the requirement. I think in a competitive process is then up to the HR to, based on the type of tolerance they have for this flight risk, is to say, okay, well, why don't we talk to this guy and see if it's, we can intervene because you met the requirement. And then the RM manager also, I believe, will have a role to play there to say, okay, well, I don't want this type of candidate. But you know what? You've left it out there for you to be considered for the job. With not taking anything now. That's how looking at it from the ethics perspective. A lot of people actually take all of that out. But I think in a way to be professional and to make sure that you have your information out there. It's up to them to then decide if they're gonna employ you. But there is a more effective approach, which is the people's work. I think a lot of people who fall into this category will have issues like maybe they are also old, your age, maybe you're going to your 50s, 60s, because it kind of they kind of relate to each other in a way if you have a lot of experience. You want to do more of people's work. You want to do more people's work, building trust in the industry. Basically, even positioning yourself as a consultant rather than, you're somebody who is just looking for an entry level role. A consultant doesn't mean that you won't do what an entry level person would do, but it means that you have more experience in this area and you're looking to walk your way through building trust and relationship. Networking will be part of that, of course. Letting people who are out there in the industry know your capability and what you're capable of. You can volunteer, associations and all of those things. Well, so that being said, um, these are the ways you need to address this situation of overqualification, because guess what, the recruitment process is a competitive process, and a lot of organizations just have to be fair. So that's why sometimes you see that, if you are overqualified, you wouldn't really be considered. And then there's also the flight risk. So that is it for today. I hope that is valuable. I got a lot of help from the sun, and then from the light here. I think the pictures looks brighter today. So I would appreciate your comments. I will appreciate if you can share this with somebody who, have this challenge, and they have this situation. It's, information. They say it's power. Let them get that information to be able to address this issue, and it's up to them to take action. Please ask questions. I would appreciate that. So that way I know the type of things I'll address in future. If you have any suggestion also about what I can, talk about, I will really appreciate that. Okay, thank you. Bye for now. You have a great Tuesday. Um, Thank you.